Welcome to my first and probably maybe your first yoga class online. And now I'm just going to pretend that there's a whole bunch of you and I will be pretending that I'm looking at you. If it's your first time, I want you to take a few things into consideration. I want you to make sure that you wear comfortable clothes so you don't feel any restriction of the clothes that you're wearing. You don't need a yoga mat, so just on the floor, on the carpet, whatever is comfortable for you, do that. If you have yoga blocks, but I didn't bring any of mine with me, I did bring a blanket, which is nice because we're going to start and end on the floor, and it's nice to cover yourself, especially when it's a bit chilly. The good thing of doing things online is that you can pick your own music. So find something that you enjoy listening to. Maybe up-tempo is not a really good idea. Something nice, something chilly, something to chill out with. It can be, I don't know, whatever you want. Yoga music, meditation music, but even pop music. If you enjoy listening to that, just go ahead. Put it on. I'll wait for you to be finished. Hopefully you paused the video and then you're back again, because actually I'm not planning on waiting so long for that. Okay, let's get going. So my yoga classes always start with a scan through the body, just to see where you're at, how you're feeling. Now today we're going to start on our backs, on the mat. Just lay down, hands next to your body, palms facing up. Now you will be doing the talking and I am going to sit up so I can watch you guys doing it. Now what I want you to do is make sure that you're comfortable. So just find and wriggle a little bit around until you're comfortable and try not to move through the next part. If you're cold, this is the time to cover yourself with a blanket. Now yoga is usually done on bare feet, but since it's a bit chilly in here, I decided to keep my socks on. Now you can keep your eyes closed, you can have a soft gaze towards the ceiling, relax your shoulders a little bit. Okay, here we go. I want you to focus on the area where your heels are touching the ground. So left and right. I want you to see if there is a difference between left and right, if it feels comfortable, and if the pressure that you're feeling is in the center of your heel or maybe slightly more to the outside or the inside. Now there is no wrong or right when you're doing this scan. It's just to start to understand what your body is like, if you feel any tight spots, and if you do, where you feel them. Are they there every time, or is it just this time off? Is it a pattern that you start to recognize? Oh, I feel quite anxious and I'm always quite tight in my neck, or oh, I always feel a certain feeling here when I had a busy day or when my mind is rumbling. Again, there is no right and wrong. Now that you have felt where your feet are and your heels are touching the ground, I want you to bring your awareness a little bit more up. So focus on your calves this time, left and right. Just feel the area where both of your calves are touching the ground. Now that might be again slightly more on the outside, or a little bit more on the inside. And again, there is no right, there is no wrong. This is just information for you. How does my body work? How do I feel? Now, if you have the feeling that you should be enlightened after a yoga session, I am sorry, that is not going to happen. This is not the path to enlightenment, but it might get you in a better headspace once you do this more often. It's yoga to the mind is just what muscles are doing in the gym. You will get stronger, you will get better at it, but it needs some practice. So don't be too harsh on yourself. Take things as they are. Okay, next bit up. So from your calves, we're going through your knees. Your knees might be slightly off the mat. We're going into the back of your thighs and your hips. Your glutes, the big muscles in your bum, they will be touching the ground now. So come to the area where your hamstrings, the back of your thighs, are touching the mat. So again, there might be a difference between left and right. There might not. And I want you to feel and experience how that feels. Do you feel any tightness in that area? Do you feel maybe another sensation. It might be warm, it might be cold, it might be heavy, it might be light. Just, it's okay, whatever you feel, because this is your body giving you information about how you are coping with things, how things are feeling right now. Take a few breaths, close your mouth and breathe in and out through your nose. Just relax your shoulders again. Exhale. Really good. Okay, we're coming back up. So the area where your hips are touching the ground is, we're following the spine from here. So when you follow your spine up, your lower back is curving away from the mat. And then it comes down again, probably where your rib cage starts. It depends a bit on how your body is built. So I want you to follow the curve in your lower back. And I want you to feel how your lower back is feeling right now. Again, is there any tension in your lower back? Does it feel warm, cold? Does it feel fluid? Do you feel that you can move through your lower back? Or does it feel quite tight? Is there a difference between left and right? And maybe there is, maybe there isn't. And again, that's not wrong, that's not right, that's your body. So from that lower curve of your spine, you're coming back down to the mat again, to where your rib cage is. Now this part should or could or would or might change every time when you breathe. So you will find maybe that when you take a nice deep inhale, that the pressure of your upper back, your rib cage, will increase. You might feel that your rib cage is pushing down into the mat. And with every time that you exhale, you might feel or experience a release of that pressure of your rib cage on the mat. It might happen, it might not. I just want you to keep breathing and create awareness of what your breath is doing to your rib cage. So take it nice and easy. Nice full breaths in, nice full breaths out. Okay, now from here we're coming up to our shoulders and our neck. So the neck is probably coming away from the mat again. So again, with the next few breaths, see how your neck is feeling. That curve in your neck, your shoulders, that is a familiar place where people tend to hold a little bit of tension. But that might not be the case. And maybe it is. Maybe it's one more on one side than the other side. And again, there is no right and wrong. Just keep your breath nice and smooth and feel how your neck is feeling. And create awareness of what your muscles, your tendons, your spine is telling you. And from here, we're going to top it up to the back of your head and see where the back of your head is resting onto the mat. So it might be straight in the center, it might be slightly more off to the right, might be slightly more off to the left. So if you feel that you're quite off center, just remember what happened all the way down. Did you feel a little bit more tension on one side or not? Did everything feel okay? How does that feel? You don't have to change anything, again, because this is just a scan to see how your body is and how it feels like. Now that we've done this, we're coming back to our shoulders. So when you are down with your shoulders, your palms are facing up, you're slightly rotating your shoulders out. So you have it slightly opening up through your shoulders and your chest muscles. So from here, I want you to start with your fingers, the back of your hands and your fingers. And I want you to feel and create awareness of where your hands are touching the ground. Is it on the inside? Do you feel your pinkies? Are your index fingers on the ground? Are your thumbs on the ground or not? Your hands slightly rotated inwards. Everything is fine. Just feel what you're feeling. Is there a difference between left and right? Is one side rotated more? Are both of your hands close to your hips, or have you placed one hand more outwards than the other one? And again, there is no right or wrong. This is you. This is today. And then from your hands, we're going to your forearms and your elbows. Just feel how that feels. See if the areas where your forearms are touching the ground are the same on the left and the same on the right. Just breathe, create awareness, listen, don't judge, and let it go. And then from your forearms and your elbows, we're coming up to that last bit of your arms and your shoulders. And I want you to see and feel if you're still comfortable. And then see how that feels, that upper arm, the back, your triceps and your shoulders. Do you get any information of your shoulder joints? Is everything nice and relaxed, or do you get other sensations? And again, no right and wrong, just ease it. Keep your breath nice and smooth. So now that we have done this, I want you to focus a little bit more on your breath. Stay where you are, just listen to my voice, I'll talk you through this. You got two nervous systems in your body. One is there and it's ready to the fight, flight and fright response. That means that your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up. There are active hormones that make sure that you can deal with a situation of stress and danger. And then sports and activity is that part as well. And then you got the other one, the parasympathetic nervous system. Now that nervous system, you probably will feel that after having a big meal, you sit down on the couch and you just feel really relaxed, sleepy, maybe even happy or something like that. So that nervous system makes sure that your heart rate drops, your blood pressure drops, the blood will be slightly coming out of your muscles, more into your intestines. That's your repair, that's your recovery. Now with times that we are facing this time, a lot of stress hormones will go up, so that's this nervous system. What we want to do right now, today, is see if you can come a little bit more into this nervous system. Now some people are awesome in meditation, they can just bring themselves down. If you are at home and you have kids running around or your mind is going crazy, maybe today this is not the aim, but maybe lowering it a little bit more down is more achievable. So we're aiming for that. So hopefully by the end you won't feel completely stressed out if you are that, but slightly less stressed out, or maybe even completely relaxed. That's totally up to you. And again, that's not right or not wrong. This is just how things work. Okay, we're going to start with our breath, because when you are anxious, nervous, or when that sympathetic nervous system is going, you want to be ready. So your heart rate goes up, your breath will probably be here because you're ready for some action. You're gonna do the sports, you're going to do that half Ironman, or you're going to do something else. Now with this, what we're going to do is slow everything down. That means that by breathing differently, we can actually calm ourselves down. So we're going to start again by creating where your breath is. So I want you to continue your breath, the way you are breathing, but I want you to feel where you can expand yourself, where you are expanding yourself right now. So is your belly button coming up and down when you are breathing? If you're not quite sure, what you can do is place your hand on your belly button and keep breathing. Nice full breaths. Remember to relax your shoulders, unclench your teeth if you're holding that tension around your jawline. Just have a few breaths. Don't change anything on your breath. If you're not feeling anything, see if you are breathing through your rib cage. So again, with every breath that you do, create awareness in where your breath is. Is your rib cage expanding when you inhale? Is it coming down when you exhale? How much is it? Is it just a little bit, or is it a lot? Is your main breath in your rib cage, or is your main breath a little bit lower in your belly? It's okay if you're not getting or grasping or feeling anything. We're practicing here. It's okay. We got 4 weeks of this ahead, so you got plenty of time to start and get things right. Okay, now I want you to see and feel if you can feel any action in the top of your lungs. So that's that part are your collarbones, that area. So again, if you're not quite sure, you can place your hands on the top of your sternum and keep breathing. Do you feel this coming up and down? Or not? Now, I'm quite nervous in doing my first online yoga session, so my stress levels are probably a little bit higher, but that's okay. So hopefully with the breath that you're doing, you can just slowly release yourself down. But first now, observe. Where is my breath? How am I feeling? What is my mindset like? Am I relaxed? Am I busy? Is my mind spinning around, or am I pretty good? Does that connect to my breath? So what we're going to do next is making alternations to our breath. So what I would like you to do is place one hand on your rib cage and one hand on your belly button. Now when you're inhaling, I want you to see if you can bring your hand up just slightly, and then I want you to bring the breath into your rib cage. So your rib cage should expand. You should feel a little bit of pressure, increase of pressure in the mat. See if you can expand your rib cage to the side, to the front, and then bring the breath all the way to the top. And then you exhale completely. Nice, full exhale. And then you're doing it again. So hopefully your belly button will rise, and then you bring the breath to your rib cage, the front, the sides, the back. Completely inhale, just like a big balloon that's expanding all the way around. And then see if you can bring the breath all the way to the top, completely fill your lungs with air, and then exhale completely. Now do this in your own pace, in your own breath. I didn't say you have to bring your hand up, so you need to bring your hand to your belly button up. See how much you can do it. Follow a pattern that suits you today. So it might be a little, might be a lot, might be different every time that you take a breath, and that's okay. All right? So breath into your belly button as much as is comfortable, then expand your rib cage out. Bring the breath all the way to the top of your lungs, and then exhale again. Let everything go. Every time you exhale, think about releasing any tension that you might have in your jaw. Release your shoulders down onto the ground. Hands down, relax your rib cage. Breathe out. Do that again. So inhale to your belly. Expand your rib cage like a balloon. Bring the breath to the top. And exhale. Now when you do this, you might experience a pause all the way in the top of your breath, and maybe all the way on the bottom of your breath after your exhale, and maybe after your inhale. Now if it feels okay, you can see if you can slightly expand that breath again. That pause on the top and the bottom of your breath. So maybe it feels okay to have a nice full inhale, have a pause, and then exhale, and have a pause. Do it in a rhythm that feels good for you today. You shouldn't feel short of breath. You shouldn't feel out of breath. Make it work for you. Every time when you exhale, I would like you to think about releasing and relaxing. Release and relax is done on the exhale, not on the inhale. Good work. All right. Now that you've done this, what I would like you to do on your next inhale, I would like you to bring your arms over your head, give yourself a really big stretch like you do when you wake up in the morning, and then roll over to your right hand side. Stay there for 2 to 3 breaths, and then bring yourself up to a seated position. Now, welcome. Now that you are sitting straight up again, I want you to know that everything that you do in yoga is doing it with the body that you have that day. So no straining feeling, no pins and needles, no sharp pains. Be gentle. This is a gentle form of exercising. All right? Good. I want you to sit in a comfortable seated position. Now that can be cross-legged. It can be on your knees, like this. If none of these are comfortable because you have tight spots in your hips, because your knees might be sore, prop yourself up and make sure that you are comfortable. So like I said, normally I have yoga blocks available. If you have them, you can use them. Or I have a blanket that I roll up, and I'm going to place myself on that. So you can either sit on your knees with the blanket between your legs, or two blankets, or the blocks, or a heap of pillows, or you can just sit down. Okay. What's most important to me is that you have a nice tall spine when you do that. So I'm not too worried about how your knees are. I just want your spine to be nice and tall. If you're sitting down cross-legged because you feel you have to, or because it feels good, and you notice that you're sitting down like this and your back is flat or maybe even curved backwards, then you're not in the right space. Bring it up, prop yourself up, make sure that you are comfortable. All right. So what you're going to do is sit down, roll back your shoulders, pretend that there is someone pulling on a string on your head, so your spine is nice and tall. That means that this is open and you should have a nice breath of air here. Okay, we're going to start with warming up a little bit through the spine. We're going to do a few spinal twists. So what I would like you to do on your inhale is bring your hands up. And when you exhale, your left hand will be going down to your right knee and your right hand will be going back behind you. And then again, when you inhale, you come up. And when you're exhaling, you're coming the other way around. So make sure you're nice and comfortable with this. You're not pushing, you're not straining, we're warming up. Do this in your own rhythm, in your own time. So every time when you inhale, you come up. Every time when you exhale, you come back down. I'm starting to get warm now. Okay, so if you want to bring your head along, that's okay. So every time when you inhale, you can look up. And every time when you exhale, you can turn your head from left to right. If that doesn't feel comfortable, inhale, keep a neutral spine, and exhale, keep a neutral spine. So it's about just twisting through your upper body. Make sure that if you're sitting down on something, that both of your sit bones are pushing down onto the block, the blankets, the floor, whatever. So I don't want you to turn and twist your hips upwards. The pressure should be the same from left to right. When you bring your arms up, your shoulders should be away from your ears. So you shouldn't come all the way up like this, because that will inhibit you for a nice full breath. Keep this open. Breathing is important. So we're finishing our last one. Now, unfortunately, it's just here me by myself, so I can't see when everybody is finished with their last round. So hopefully now that I kept on talking, everybody is finished. Otherwise, just finish where you're out and come back through center. Check your shoulders. Am I still with a neutral spine? Am I starting to come forward again? What happened? How does it feel? All right, so from here we're coming into a cat and cow pose. Every pose in yoga that you do on the mat is called asana. Asana is the yoga on the mat. I won't use the Sanskrit words. I will use the English words. They are names that exist. I didn't invent them, so just go with it. And you can't ask me why they are called like that. That's the good thing for me about teaching online yoga. All right, so what you're going to do is come into what's called a tabletop position. So your hands will be underneath your shoulders, but if you don't have the range of motion in your wrist joints, then bring your hands slightly forward, or maybe turn your hands outwards. So see how that feels by placing your hands roughly underneath your shoulders. And then you have a neutral spine, so you're not sagging through or sailing through. I can't see what you're doing, so you can cheat on this one. I'll give you this one. Have a neutral spine, and then your knees should be underneath your hips. Now again, if you feel any tight spot or if this is really uncomfortable, change things around. So have a little play and see what it feels like. If your hand's slightly more at the front, if that feels okay for your wrists, or slightly more back. So what you're going to do now is inhale. Now when you inhale, what I would like you to do is roll your shoulders back, bring your chest forward, and drop your belly button down to the ground. So you really, if your hips are like this, you really tilt them backwards. Forwards, sorry, so your bum sticks out the back. So you inhale, and then when you exhale, you start by tucking your tailbone under, like this. Really curve up as much as you can, your gaze comes down. This is a cat pose. When you inhale, you roll your spine, shoulders are coming back, chest forwards. Cow. Exhale. Inhale. Come into the cow pose. And when you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, really curve your back. So you're going to do this in your own breath. Now maybe it feels good for you to make just slightly movements. Maybe your back is a little bit tender. Maybe you got stuff going on. Just feel what feels good. So maybe it feels good to just start small, and with every breath that you do, maybe the movements can be a little bit bigger. But maybe it feels good to stay small today. Maybe it feels good to go really big. So hopefully you're not following my pace, but your own pace. I hope the music that you're listening to is good. Okay, and last time, when you inhale, your chest comes forward, and when you exhale, tuck your tailbone under. So if moving on the breath is challenging, don't worry about it too much. Just it's all about making slow and controlled movements. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of twisting again, or through the upper body. What I would like you to do is place your right hand slightly to the front and in the center. And then when you inhale, you squeeze your shoulder blades and you look up. And again, it depends a bit on your range of motion, how this will look like. When you exhale, you place your left hand next to the right. And when you inhale, your right elbow comes up. Squeeze your shoulder blade together, come back down. Squeeze your shoulder blade. Now your head can stay down or it can come up, depending a bit on what feels good. Have a play. There's no right or wrong. The most important thing is that you activate through the muscles in your back, shoulder blades. You might feel a stretch to the front of your shoulders, your back, your chest muscles, and you might not feel anything at all, and that's all perfectly fine. Okay. The next pose is called a child's pose. Now we are going to do an extended child's pose. So I would like you to bring your big toes together and your knees are coming mat width apart. And then you're going to bring back your bum towards your hips as much as is comfortable for you. And when you're here, you're bringing your hands forward and bring your head down. Now if this is too intense, grab your blanket, place your head on top of the blanket, and extend your hands out. Now if this is too much for the inner thighs, because you might feel a stretch there, come up a little bit more. Work with your range of motion. Again, there's no right or no wrong. So do it the way you feel you should be doing it today. And again, it might change tomorrow. You might do exactly the same thing tomorrow and experience completely different things. So now that you're here in the child's pose, stay there, don't copy me. You got all the time to work on that breath. Your belly has a nice space here. So work on your breath again. Make sure you have that belly breath as much as you can, then expand through your rib cage, maybe all the way to the top, maybe not, and have a nice full breath. We're going to do this 3 breaths. So belly button, rib cage, all the way to the top, and out. When you exhale, find your tight spot in this child's pose and see if you can release those areas. So you might be able to release a little bit more through your inner thighs. You might feel a tightness between your shoulder blades, or here in your lats. You might feel a tightness in the front of your shoulders, and maybe it's somewhere completely different. So last full breath in, and exhale out. Okay, coming back up. So what we're going to do next is starting with our flow. I want you to stand up. So this is called a mountain pose. It's not too tricky, is it? So place your feet fairly close to each other. Roll your shoulders back, nice tall spine. I want you to close your eyes now, and I want you to feel where the pressure is in your feet in the mat. So again, compare left and right, front and back. So you might be able to feel that there is maybe a difference between left and right, the front and the back. My right foot is pushing down a little bit harder than my left. So we're going to see if we can even that out a little bit more. I want you to keep your eyes closed, and I want you to slightly lean forward so the weight's more on the ball of your feet and maybe in your toes. But keep your heels on the ground, because I don't want you to fall over. No, I don't want you to fall over. Okay, now come back through center and slightly lean back. So the weight should now be, I would say, 70%, 80% on your heels. Toes are still on the ground, ball of the feet is still on the ground. Feel which muscles you are engaging right now. Okay, do that again. Come through center, slightly lean forward. You should feel maybe your quadriceps, the front of your thighs easing off, and lean forward. Heels stay on the ground. It's just a slight movement. Okay, come through center, slightly come back. Good one. Okay, I would like you to place the weight onto your right foot. So that's that way for you guys, probably. Okay, come back through center and over to the left-hand side. So if you are if you are oriented challenged and you don't know your lefts from your rights, it's okay. You just do one side and then the other side. Come back through center. Go to the first side again. So right for me. Flex your arms down and come over to the left. Through center. That's it. Really good. Okay, come back through center. Nice full inhale. Deep exhale. Now we're going to slightly move around. So bring the weight to the front, then over to the right. Make a circle. So we're going to the back next. Over to the left and to the front. We're going to do that circle one more time. So from the front, you're moving over to the right, on to the back, and into the left. Coming to the front, and then come to center first. Okay, other way around. So lean forward slightly, come over to the left, lean all the way back, onto the right, come forward. Good work. Okay, do that second round. So over to the left, lean to the right, sorry, back. Now on to the right and into the front. Now come back. Feel the difference. There might be a difference, might not be a difference. That's okay. Experience your breath. How are your shoulders? Are you still clenching your teeth or are they relaxed? Okay, So we're going into our flow. So when you inhale, you start in mountain pose. When you inhale, both hands are coming up. And when you exhale, you're coming into a forward fold. Now, coming into a forward fold, watch this first before you do this. That's what I say in class all the time. I want you to focus on keeping a tall spine. So when you're falling forward, I don't want you to do this. You think, oh, I can't reach that far. Do you see my back? My hamstrings are a little bit tight, so I have to bend through my knees. What I want you to do is actually come up, stick your bum out to the back so the weight's into your heels. See, if you bend that like this, your spine stays tall for a lot longer instead of reaching forward like this. So working with our back here. So weight should be on the heels. Stick your bum out to the back and then release down. Now my left hamstrings is tight. I'm not straightening my leg. That's not the idea. The idea is that you do an inhale and a forward fold. This might be your forward fold. This might be your forward fold. Work with your body. Now you can try it. Okay, so a nice full inhale here. And then fold forward to where you feel you should be right now. Okay, now that you're here, I want you to hold on to opposite elbow. So let the weight of your head pull a little bit on your spine. For some people, this is really nice on the lower back. So what you can do is just swing your upper body from left to right. Make eights, just move your head. Okay, we're coming up. So what I want you to do is place your hands onto your thighs, stick your bum out to the back, push yourself up. So again, you have this nice tall spine. If your back is not that strong yet, push off with your hands on your thighs or on your shins. Don't do it on your knee joints. Use that. Again, make it work. If you're doing this with somebody else, they might decide to do something completely different. That's fine too. Do what works with your body. So inhale, come up, exhale. Now when you're inhaling, you just come up a little bit. So your hands might be on your shins, hands might be on your spine, halfway lift, exhale. So when you're inhaling, your hands come onto your thighs or you work your way up to standing, hands over your head. That's your inhale. Hands are coming back down. Here we go again. So inhale, hands up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach towards the ceiling, exhale, hands are coming down. Relax your shoulders, nice tall spine. Good work. Okay, tricky part, lefts and rights. So after we came up, when you do a halfway lift, I want you to keep a tall spine. That includes your head. So I don't want you to lift up like this. Keep looking down like this. So we got a neutral spine. Your head is not moving, your neck is not doing any work. Okay, so from here, we're coming into an inhale and then an exhale. Now on your next inhale, I want you to bring your right leg up. That's this leg. Okay, so your right leg comes up. Work with your range of motion. So your right leg comes up, but you keep a neutral spine. If you think I need to lift it a little bit higher than my spouse or my child who I'm doing it with, I can do it. You start to lose that. That puts strains in your lower back. So I want you to lift your leg up. This is a high knee. This is a high knee. This is not the proper high knee. If you are in doubt and you're not quite sure if you have that neutral spine, keep your hand here on the back of your hand and your lower back, lift up. If you're not feeling any different, then you're good to go. If you do, you feel that flattening out. If you start to feel your spine, then lower down your leg. All right? Now, from that high knee, we're going to step back into a high lunge. So your leg is coming back through center, and then you're going to step back like this. Now when you have a high lunge, you don't want to feel it in your lower back. What usually happens when people do feel it in the lower back is that they step back quite big. They arch through the back and then they're coming out. Do you see I've got this really nice curve in my lower back? I can feel that in my lower back. So your option would be to bring your knee up. This is a perfect fine high lunge. My spine is neutral. I'm not curving I'm not arching my lower back. That's good. I feel secure. Okay. So high knee, you're going to step back. If you are stepping back a little bit more, what might help, if you still feel this in your lower back, is that you engage through your abdominal muscles and slightly squeeze your bum. So instead of having your pelvis like this, you do that. Now you might find that you feel a little bit of stretch through the front when you do that. If you have tight hip flexors, probably your first thing would be to really come back. If you start to squeeze, you might feel an increased stretch on the front of your hip. That's fine, that's okay. Just work a little bit with it. Now the other thing that I would like you to know is when you do a high lunge and you step back, that I want you to have a look in your knee. So I don't want your knee to collapse inward like that. I want your knee to be strong and straight ahead. Now it might, if your knee does collapse inward, it might have something to do with the strength of this muscle to keep your leg in and straight. Or it has something to do maybe with the tightness in your groin area. You can imagine that if this is really tight, it won't have the flexibility to have a lot of movement in it. Adjust it. Make sure your knee doesn't go over your toe. Maybe your step has to be smaller. If you struggle with your balance, a nice tip is instead of standing like this, when you go back, step outwards a little bit, like this, nice and wide. So you got a little bit, it's less likely for you to struggle with your balance if that's an issue, okay? Hopefully you were getting quite bored and we're having a play with it. Now we're doing the real thing. Okay, so what I want you to do is stand nice and tall into your mountain pose. When you inhale, both hands are coming up. When you exhale, you come into a forward fold. When you inhale, you come into a halfway lift. Your gaze should be at your toes or on the floor. Exhale, come back down. On your next inhale, come all the way up, reach towards the ceiling, and then your exhale, both hands are coming down. On your next inhale, your weight will be on your left, your right leg lifts up, and on your exhale, you step back, high lunge. The weight is completely on your left, step back into your mountain pose. Coming onto the other side, inhale, hands up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway left, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, exhale, hands are coming down. On your next inhale, left knee comes up, weight into your right, exhale, high lunge. All right, good. We're going to add something to it. So, when we are lifting our hands up, our knee up, our hands coming up, and when you're exhaling, you're going to push your hands out. So this is a little bit more active. Now, if you struggle with your balance, leave your hands where they are. If it feels better to keep them here because it feels safer, do that. Choose your option, all right? So hands are coming up on your inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, exhale, hands are coming down. Weight into your left, right leg lifts up, high knee. Now you might find this is quite different, then your hands down or to the side. On your next exhale, step back, high lunge. And on your next inhale, step back to the front, exhale. Other side, inhale, hands up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, exhale, hands are coming down. Inhale, left knee rises, Right foot on the floor. Exhale, push away. On your next inhale, stand up. Relax your shoulders down. Exhale, mountain pose. All right, so what we're going to do next, I'm just going to quickly look at the time. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, so what we're going to do next is add something to it. Now from that high lunge that we are doing, we're going up and open into a warrior two pose. So you're standing here, and what you're going to do is open up like this. That's a warrior two. Now, a warrior two, if you start with the position of your feet, you can do this with me and have a feel in how your body feels like. In general, the pose is as follows. Your right foot is pointed to the front of the mat, if you would have a mat. Then the heel is in one line with the arch of your left foot, the foot that is back, and that's positioned in the same line as the short end of the mat. So point it towards the front, parallel to the back. And then you're going to lean forward. Now knees don't like going over toes, so I don't want you to do it like this. Again, that knee collapsing inwards like that is something that you want to be aware of. So what I want you to do is come into that warrior two pose, and I want you to have a look. Now you should, if you look at your knee, you should be able to see your big toe. Then you know that your knee is not collapsing inward. As you can see, my knee doesn't go over my toe. What I do want you to do and feel what happens in your body. If it's a lot of effort into the outer area, or if you feel a lot of strain, what you can do is actually bring that back foot forward a little bit. So if you are tight through your inner thighs, this might be a better option. This is a perfect fine warrior two pose as well. If you want to challenge yourself, and if you feel I want to strengthen myself, make it wider and go deeper. This is a lot harder, which asks a little bit more of your flexibility on your inner thighs and the muscles of your leg. You probably will feel this in your quadriceps, the front of your thighs, and in your glutes, your bum on the outside. Have a go, change side, and then again feel if there is a difference between left and right. So maybe you think, oh, actually, I can do this a lot easier. Then I can do this. Or my preferred side is this, because this feels more natural, more fluid, doesn't feel that awkward. And again, there might be a difference, there might not be a difference at all. You're doing great, keep in there, hang in there. Okay, so a warrior pose. What you want to do when you are a warrior is be proud. So your chest is coming forward, your spine is nice and tall. When you roll back your shoulders, extend both of your arms up, you're going to look at the front. But when you're in there, I want you to gaze at the backhand to see if you're not doing this. Now my shoulders are parallel to the front end on the mat. So I'm not doing a warrior like this or like this. It's that. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, bring your shoulders down away from your ears. Remember your breath. See if you can bring your exhale and inhale through your rib cage. Okay, so from here, we're coming back into a high lunge, and we're going to step to the front of the mat. We're going to glue this together, left and right. So when you're inhaling, both hands are coming up, and when you're exhaling, you fold forward. Inhale, a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, bring all hands up, reach towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands are coming back down. Now on your next inhale, wait until your left, right leg lifts up, hands next to you in your waist or all the way to the top. Exhale. Okay, this is a high lunge, and I realize that I'm facing the wrong way, so I'm going to change it around. Hold there. Okay, now we're opening up into the warrior two pose. So your right heel comes down onto the ground. You're opening up your hands. Take a look, see where your toe is at. Make sure your foot or your knees onto the side. Warrior two, be proud. Stay here for 2 to 3 breaths. So if this is too much, because you started too deep, come back up. If you don't feel any issues, stay where you are. So on your next inhale, you come back up to that high lunge, and on your exhale, you're stepping forward to the front of the mat. Stay where you are. On your next inhale, both hands are coming up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands are down. Inhale, hands up, knee up, weight to your right, left foot comes up, left knee comes up, sorry. Okay, on your next exhale, come up into a high lunge. Inhale, open up into warrior two on the other side. I'm just thinking, did I do the right thing? Yes, I did. Okay. So on your next inhale, come back up to a high lunge, and on your exhale, step forward to the front of the mat. Okay, so this is a really short version of a flow. Next time we might expand this. As you do this more often, that means that I don't spend a lot of time explaining the poses, but because I assume that you're all beginners in the yoga, I explain and go through the pose. If you have watched this video and you do have questions, please contact me. Ask any questions if you're not sure. I'm always happy to have a little Skype or whatever, or answer your questions through email. Just let me know where you're at. Okay, we're going to do a balancing pose because I know people love them. I have particular people in mind right now. So we're going to do a tree pose. So the weight will be on your left. I want you to place your left foot down onto the mat. Nice and strong, square off your hips, engage through your glutes. Then you're going to come onto your toes. Place your heel on the inside of your left foot, and then inhale. So this is a tree pose. Your hands are the branches. This is stam, because I don't know the English word for it. You learned some Dutch again, that's pretty good, eh? Okay, exhale, hands are coming down, knees coming in, place your feet up both on the ground. Now bring the weight into your right, your left heel comes off, place your heel on the inside of your ankle, and both hands are coming up. Now that you stand here, again, feel the difference between left and right. Are they the same? Are they different? Exhale, knees coming in, both feet on the ground, hands are down. Now you can choose to stay here, we're going to do this again, or if it feels okay, you can challenge yourself a little bit more. So what you can do is rotate outwards and place your foot on your shin. Now if you've done this before, you can choose to place your foot on your inner thigh above your knee joint. So your foot should be above your knee or below your knee. On your knee, knees are not really fond about that, so make sure you keep it lower or higher. So from here, you're going to bring your hands up. If this is not you today, stick with it. Keep it here for balance. I want you to practice your balance. I don't want you to fall over and bump your head against something, because the doctor wouldn't like that. Okay, exhale, foot is coming down. Weight into your right, left foot comes either on the inside of your ankle or placed on your calf. When you're inhaling, both hands are coming up. Remember your breath. Nice full inhale. Keep your shoulders away from your ears so don't start to hunch up. So your hands will be coming down, foot is coming down. Good work. Time to do some stretches. So what we're going to do is start stretching your hamstrings out. That's the back of your thighs. You can use if you have a yoga belt, you can use a yoga belt, you can use a yoga strap, or just a regular belt. They are in the washing machine right now, so I'm going to use my hands. So what you want to do is place your foot onto the ground, bring your leg up, interlace your fingers, Bend through your knees and then start to extend out. So I'm aiming for a stretch in this part here, the belly of your muscle. If you feel anything in your knee, that means that you're stretching too much. Ease off a little bit. So if you have a strap, you place that around and you're going to stretch out until you feel a stretch in your hamstrings. Again, if you feel this in your calf or behind your knee, that probably means that you have to lower down. So the intensity of a stretch should be, if 0 would be nothing and a 10 would be excruciating, then you want to be around a 3 maybe. And every time when you exhale, you go into that tight area and you see if you can release it. Now, the more often you do it, the easier it will get. So if the stretch eases off, you can choose to bring your leg forward or you can choose to extend this leg out. Now that will change the position of your pelvis and will increase the stretch of your hamstrings. So it might mean that you need to lower down. Keep breathing. If you're not feeling any change, or if you notice that you start to hold your breath or your shoulders are creeping up, that means that the stretch is too intense. Lower it back down. Okay, swap sides. So place your right foot on the floor, interlace your fingers behind your left knee and start extending out. Keep your breath nice and smooth, so relax down. So when we are doing stretches next time, I will warn, hopefully I remember, turn on some nice and down music. So if you had pop music, find a tune that you really feel like you can relax on. Extend your leg out. Remember to keep your shoulders down, unclench your teeth, let your head just rest on the mat, the floor. Okay, release this. So glutes will be next. So we're going to do a supine figure 4 stretch. That means that you can stay where you are, which is always a bonus. Don't move too much. And you're going to keep your left leg where it is, and you're going to place your right foot on top of your left thigh and let your leg come out until you feel a stretch here. Now, if you do feel this in your knees, then this will be a good stretch. If you're not experiencing a stretch at all, you can choose to bring your right hand between your legs, your left hand comes on the outside of your left leg, and you lift up. If you feel this is too much, you can choose to grab your blanket, place your foot onto a blanket, and relax like this. So this is in the middle. Just have a play. The more often you do it, the more you know, oh yeah, I like this one, or this is good for me, or oh, I should avoid this because my body is not happy with that. Same thing as the hamstring stretch. Stay in this. Every exhale that you do, see if you can just release through. Just keep your body nice and released, relaxed. Okay, we're coming on to the other side. Now remember that with the scan, I asked you lefts and rights. There might be a difference between left and right flexibility wise. So don't just assume, oh, I was in this position, so I should go back on the other side. No, just start on the floor again. Place your right foot on the floor, left foot comes on top of the right hand side, your right thigh. Relax your left leg out. Feel what you're feeling. Is this stretch the same on the other side? Yeah, or is it less intense, more intense? Does it feel okay? Do I want to stay here? If you're not experiencing a lot of stretch, what you can do is bring your left hand between your legs, your right hand comes underneath and come into a figure 4 like this. If this is too much, again, you can choose to place your foot on the top of your blanket. Another option is that you place your body against the wall and do it like that. So, like this. All right, now that we've done that, I would like you to do one more stretch, and then we're coming into our last pose. I do use the Sanskrit name for that because it's called dead corpse in English. Not really good one. So this one is called savasana. But before we're going to do that, we're going to do one more stretch of this area. When we're sitting down or having work behind the computer or bending forward, the rotation of your shoulders usually happens. This gets a little bit tighter. So to open up through there, we're going to do a stretch. This time on the floor. Grab your blanket, 2 blocks if you have them. So what I want you to do is come onto your back with your shoulder blades and then open up through here. So your shoulder blades should come around the blocks or around the blanket. If this is too short for you, just fold it another way around. I don't want your head to be hanging up like this. Not now, at least. So your arms are coming to the side, your elbows stay relaxed. If it feels okay for your back, your options are with your legs to either extend out, keep them up like this, or place the soles of your feet together and let your knees drop out to the sides. I like it this way today, so this is my option. So again, with every exhale that you do, see if you can find those tight spots and release through them. So a nice full inhale. Remember your breath into that balloon of your rib cage, the front, the sides and the back. And have a nice full exhale. So your mouth is closed, your nose is for breathing. And maybe it feels okay for you to bring your breath a little bit more to your belly. Close your eyes, have a soft gaze towards the ceiling. So from here we're coming into our final pose, Shavasana. So I want you to start to lay down just exactly as we were starting the class. I remember the blanket that I talked to you about. Cover yourself, make sure that you're warm. Yoga should be done in a warm room, not in a really cold gym. But I don't have the space at home, so here we are. So come down onto your back, hands next to your body, palms facing up. Eyes are closed or a soft gaze towards the ceiling. Now I want you to move as little as you can. Make sure you keep your breath nice and smooth. And I'm going to talk you through this. So I want you to have a nice full in and exhale. Relax your shoulders down. And on your next exhale, I want you to release your right foot down onto the floor. Right foot's heavy. On your next exhale, release your right calf onto the floor. So let go of any tension that you might still have in the muscles of your right leg. On your next exhale, I want you to release your right leg from your knee to your hip. So release your quadriceps, your hamstrings. So on your next exhale, you feel that the whole right leg is down onto the mat or on the ground, relaxed, released, soft. On your next exhale, release your left heel down onto the floor. Let it be heavy and effortless. On your next exhale, release your left calf down onto the floor. Let it go. Release. Relax. On your next exhale, release the quadriceps, the front and the back of your left leg down onto the mat. Soften. Heavy. On your next exhale, release your glutes, your hips, left and right, down onto the mat. Feel the area where your glutes are touching the mat becomes heavier every time you exhale. Feel how gravity is pulling on that whole lower body. It's there without any effort. Just released, relaxed, drawn into the earth. On your next exhale, relax the fingers of your right hand down. Relax your right hand, your right forearm, your right elbow, and your right whole arm. So on your next exhale, you feel that whole right arm is gently pressing down onto the mat. Effortless, released. On your next exhale, release the fingers of your left hand down. Your left hand, your left forearm, your left elbow, your left upper arm, and your left shoulder. So both hands are relaxed, released. They're down onto the mat. Effortless, heavy, soft. On your next exhale, release your back, rib cage, shoulder blades. Relax your chest, shoulders. Release your neck and let your head be heavy on the mat. Unclench your teeth and let your tongue come away from the roof of your mouth. Stay here, breathe, release. Your next inhale, you slowly start to waken up your body again. So I would like you to wriggle with your toes and open and close your hands. And on your next inhale, I would like you to bring your hands over your head. Give yourself a big stretch like you do when you wake up in the morning and roll over to your right hand side. Stay here for a few breaths. Feel how your body is feeling. Feel the difference. Okay, come back up to seated whenever you're ready. And here I am, because I'm cold. I look like a little Buddha, but it's nice and warm. So I'm happy with this. Okay. we are done today. When we do a class together, we usually bring our hands together and say namaste. That means I see you. I see you. Thank you for this class. Thank you for coming and joining me. There will be more to come. Take care. Look after yourself. Stay safe. And in a weird way, this was quite a cool experience for me. And I might do it more often. Okay, guys? I'll see you later.